When people tell me they're moving to Destin, Florida, they're usually picturing the beach first, and that makes complete sense. But in our last couple of videos, we talked about something super important. The real decision isn't just Destin or not Destin. It's whether you want to live inside of a coastal zone or just outside of it. One of the fastest growing areas just outside of Destin right now is Freeport. So instead of just talking about Freeport in theory, today we're going to actually show you what it looks like in real life. AJ is on scene right now in Freeport, and we're going to walk you through a few things. What the neighborhoods feel like, what your money actually buys you out there, what the commute really looks like, and what daily life in places like Hammock Bay actually feel like on a normal week. Because if you're relocating from out of state, you don't just need information, you need visual clarity. So let's stop guessing and let's actually see it. AJ, where are you starting us out at?
All right, so I'm starting us here basically at the beginning, depending on which, starting point you have. We're about 35 minutes northeast of Destin and directly north of Santa Rosa Beach. And I'm actually standing in the Grady Brown Park, which is absolutely awesome. This park is waterfront. Actually, I guess I can just hit the button to spin us around. All right, so you can actually go fishing out here. You can bring your boat up here. You got some bathrooms over here. There's a playground over here, and there's tons of parking. And then this road right here, this is 331. It's like our big, north-south video. We got some fans. So 331 will head north and south. So this is Santa Rosa Beach right over here, which will take you to the beach. From where I'm standing, you're probably about 15, 20 minutes to the beaches of 30A. Absolutely beautiful. And this way, right up here, is Freeport. So we're in Freeport now, basically, like I said, where it begins. So what is Freeport like? Freeport is basically the residential area. You can imagine Santa Rosa Beach is going to be all the touristy stuff, and then Freeport is going to be where all the locals live to avoid it, right? So we're still super close to the beach, but more residential or community or family minded here in Freeport. There's a whole lot of growth happening. As we drive further up, you're going to see that there isn't like a ton of infrastructure here yet. We do have a Publix, and you can get your Amazon packages delivered. You can get larger square footage properties, larger lots for just about a fraction of the price of what you would pay in Santa Rosa Beach. So there are a whole lot of perks to being in Freeport, just north of all the action. First impressions of Freeport are gonna be, wow, is there nothing else out here? And that's pretty true for right now. There's a lot of construction happening, and a lot of it is based on residential stuff. We have a ton of new construction. D.R. Horton is out here, Valor is out here, DSLD is out here. Very common builders to see in this area. You've got Randy Wise for the higher price point, properties. All of them are doing great out here. We've got tons of options out here, and they're all coming with lots of incentives as well. But as far as things to do, probably not going to be spending a whole lot of time in Freeport, looking for nightlife. Thankfully, Hammock Bay has a whole lot of amenities to offer that even can be used by folks not living in Hammock Bay. I'm going to show you some of that here later on. Andrew, you had mentioned that Freeport feels a bit residential first, which I totally agree with. Let's talk to them about what that means as far as space and value. I know I touched on it a little bit earlier, but if you want to elaborate a bit more for folks, probably be beneficial.
Thanks, AJ. One of the first things most people notice when they start looking north of Destin, or in this case northeast, is space. You'll notice more yard, more driveway, more square footage, and more new construction. But bigger isn't just better in theory. Bigger also means more space between homes, which means a bigger noise buffer. It means more garage or storage space in general for all of that beach gear you're going to want to collect. And it means more flex rooms for remote work or just extra space in general. And of course, it means a bigger backyard for pets and hosting family during holidays or friends. But that's not just a visual difference, there's also a budget difference. In Destin, your money is often buying proximity. It's also buying the energy of Destin, the density, and the vacation traffic, and also visitors cycling through. In Freeport, on the other hand, your money is often buying you structure, and it's buying consistency, fewer short-term rentals, and more primary residents living around you. And you're also buying neighbors who stay. Some buyers realize they don't just want a house near the beach, they want a neighborhood where the cars in the driveway don't change every 3 days. Structure doesn't just mean square footage either. It means planned infrastructure and sidewalks, more consistent lighting, and better stormwater planning. And it means that somebody thought through how the entire neighborhood's going to look before the neighborhood was built. This leads to more predictable neighborhood layouts, master planned flow versus pieced together streets. So, what AJ is about to show you next is one of the most popular developments in Freeport, Hammock Bay. So, this is where the value conversation starts to become very real. AJ, go ahead and show us what Hammock Bay actually looks like on the ground.
All right, I'm going to show you guys what Hammock Bay looks like on the ground, or rather what it looks like on wheels, kind of. There's something that I want to show you. So right now I am heading westbound on 20 from 331, and there are a couple of access points to Hammock Bay. Our main access point is absolutely beautiful, but then there are these like side entry access points that are a little bit more, you know, if you know where you're going, then they're not obscure. But if it's your first time here and your GPS isn't really working, or your cell phone reception isn't really working because you don't have AT&T, and that's pretty much required to live out here and have signal, then you're not going to know where to go, like, at all. Actually, you remember back in the day when you had to print off that MapQuest map for your directions? That's what you're going to have to do again out here in Freeport, and yes, also in Hammock Bay, unless you have AT&T. I'm going to pull this spoon out of my cup so it stops making noise. I'm going to flip you guys around so you can see what it looks like here. All right, so from this angle, you're probably like, well, this isn't really much to look at, but I promise you it is. Look, we just got our own turning lane going into the neighborhood back here. So this is actually going to take you to Hammock Bay as well. But I am going to show you the main access to Hammock Bay, and I might as well point some stuff out while I'm doing it. So here on our left is Freedom Jiu-Jitsu, and they are fantastic. So much like a family. They offer jiu-jitsu and self-defense classes for women and all kinds of stuff. They're just the coolest people, and yeah, I love them. So we're gonna keep heading this way on 20, and my phone is going to keep going off because I'm a realtor, and that's what realtors' phones do. We do have this little tiny baby park here, and it looks really cute, and like you'd totally want to go check it out when you see it from this side, but then once you get on the path you realize it goes pretty much nowhere. So not the funnest, but you know, it's all right. And the vast majority of 20 actually looks like this up until you get closer to the Mid-Bay Bridge taking you into Destin. Then you start seeing the bay water on the south side. But right now, all we're seeing is land, because Hammock Bay is basically a peninsula jutting out into the bay on this side. And then we've got more bay to the right, or to the north, if you will. All right. I'm gonna let you guys hit fast forward until we get to the main entrance. Okay, so right up here, we are getting to the main entrance for Hammock Bay. I say main entrance, but unless you're in main Hammock Bay, most people don't use this entrance at all. But there are a lot of neighborhoods up here in main Hammock Bay, and this is also where the vast majority of the amenities are. So if you're coming from 20, then it makes sense to use this entrance. But otherwise, typically you're going to use one of the entrances off of 83. So you'll notice how beautiful this entrance is. That's one thing that's really cool about Hammock Bay. Yes, there's an HOA, but it's not crazy expensive. I think it's like, is it I can't even remember. Mongo, you're gonna have, or Andrew, you're gonna have to look it up for them. But look at this beautiful walking trail to my left. These are all over the place, these walking trails. And look at how cute this sign is to the right here, telling you where everything is, the sports complex and everything. Is it not just magical over here? It doesn't feel like tourist central. It feels like home, because that's exactly what it is. And we have all these pocket communities here. And look, some of these houses are just beautiful. Well, really, a lot of the houses are absolutely beautiful. And then you have a couple of these like bridge-esque walkovers that are just so, I don't want to say romantic, but kind of romantic. Like, they're just cute and lovely to walk on. I don't know about you guys, but if I have to go on a walk or a run, I absolutely want some boardwalks thrown in there. And even the retention ponds, they make them absolutely beautiful. I see people fishing in them and kids throwing rocks. Yes, there are gators in them sometimes, and that can be kind of fun. So I am taking you from the main entry to the main area where we have all of the amenities. Well, not all of the amenities, because there are some more down in the southern area, but the amenities for main Hammock Bay. And everybody in Hammock Bay, regardless of the community, is able to access all of the amenities. It doesn't matter which neighborhood they sit in. So like Starburst has some amenities, and Steamboat Landing has some additional amenities, but you don't have to live in either of those neighborhoods in order to have access to them. You just have to be a Hammock Bay resident. And vice versa, if you live in Starburst, you can still come and use all the main amenities up here at main Hammock Bay. So it's really cool because you have a lot of them centralized, and then also some outliers that, you know, you get to go and find basically. And of course, if you were to purchase in here, you would know where those amenities were located and what they were and what those prices would look like. It's so sad that I can't remember the prices, and I literally live here and pay the HOA. That's how much I pay attention to the fees, because they just don't matter because of how much you get for it. Look, again, here's one of those signs. I just love them. You guys should see how everybody does something different for Halloween or for Christmas. And there are always people out walking their dogs. We also have a dentist here now. How crazy is that? Okay, so this is where everything kind of happens, okay? So we're coming up to the main amenities. This green space right up ahead, they have just all kinds of get-togethers for the neighborhood. And people will come in that don't live here as well. It's open to the public. All right, let's go get a closer look. Oh, that's another thing. There's usually tons of parking, which if y'all have been watching our videos for any length of time, you know that I can't stand struggling for parking. And I don't have to here, which is lovely. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so this building over, what's going on with my camera? Here we go. So this building over here is where the fitness center is. I'm not gonna record in there because it's just rude to record people while they're working out. Gyms don't like it, people don't like it. So, you know, we're not gonna do it. Then we've got some tennis courts and basketball court over here. And then I'll take you to see the central pools. Again, we have some more in Starburst. Well, just one pool in Starburst, not multiple. They are locked. Ah, why isn't it? There we go. All right. And I figure now's a good time to do it because people won't get in the water because it's freezing. So we've got a lap pool here. And these big black balls that are hanging here, these are for mosquitoes. Don't walk up and punch them. You're gonna end up with a really sticky hand. I promise you're not gonna like it. You've got an outdoor kitchen space over here. You've got some outdoor showers here, some outdoor seating. Check this out. How cool, perfect for entertaining. This is actually the pool that I was baptized in. How cool is that? So you've got another pool up there, and then this pool, you've got this zero entry that goes all the way out. So lovely. And then we've got another one over here. So there are all kinds of pools here at Hammock Bay. We're all about some pools. You've got a playground for the super young kids, then some swings, and then the playground for the older kids. There's always something going on, some kind of like fix going on at one of the pools when it's off season. Oh, this might have something to do with it, but they'll be fixing it. No issues. And let me take you over here. Is this not super serene? Like, I would come and sit by the pool even without wanting to get in the water, just to have this ambiance because it's so beautiful. Usually there's like fountains going on over here. But again, it's off season right now. We're in February and it's cold. So here's one of the lakes. Absolutely beautiful. So just get some more like ambiance over here. And then I'm thinking that's a pickleball court over here. And then we have a clubhouse right here. You can book this for events. Super spacious. And because it matters, the restrooms here are great as well. I will tell you though, they lock on the inside and outside. So if you are living here and you bring a friend and you let them in, you have to let them out as well. I might have had that happen to a friend on accident. All right, I'm gonna stop recording for a second and take you guys over to the sports complex and the green area. Oh my gosh, it's so lovely. Okay, so right behind me, we've got Props Brewery, and then we also have the general store over here, which is awesome. A lot of times you'll see some kids hanging out after school, but there are also food trucks over here, which is awesome. Abity Coffee is there, fantastic. And then right in front of me, I'll show you, we have this beautiful green space here with this huge screen. So they'll play different movies and everybody will just kind of like picnic out on the green. It is so cool. And there's tons of parking everywhere and along this back stretch over here, which I'm going to show you here in a minute. They have been doing these like worship nights. And so the whole community gets together and everybody worships together to live worship music. It's so, so cool, y'all. All right, let's go see the sports complex and some more walking trails. And I think that might be it for Hammock Bay. Okay, so this whole area is the Freeport Regional Sports Complex, and you've got everything here. We've got a huge field over here for football or soccer. Let me turn you around to show you what I'm pointing at. Okay, so we've got this big open field here, and then I don't know how well you can see it, but this right over here is a Frisbee golf net. You can see there's another one over here. We've got another one right here, so people can be out in these trails playing Frisbee golf. You've got some, I can never tell the difference, y'all, between whether it's tennis or pickleball, all right? They look exactly the same. I know one's bigger, but I imagine the colors are different. This looks like tennis to me, maybe. So we've got some, we're gonna call them tennis courts here. And then there's some more courts over there. And this road here actually creates this big loop around, and they'll have these big old events here, and they'll bring in a bunch of food trucks, and I should flip you around while I'm telling you this. There was this one time they had this like fish throwing contest. It was hilarious. I tried to get Sage to throw a fish. Oh, she had the biggest attitude. Although now she's all about it. Like, yeah, hand me the fish. Crazy kids. Hang on. Let me check out my notes to see if there was anything else that I missed about this. yeah, I think we got everything. So some things that I probably need to mention is that this is a master planned development, right? We've got all kinds of different communities within one subdivision. You've got pretty much every amenity that you could ever need: groceries, fitness, activity, pools, walking trails, mailboxes, and pretty much you have everything. Oh, and there's a school here too. So pretty much everything that you could possibly need except maybe the gas station. So all of those reasons are why people tend to move here, because, you know, they have absolutely everything that they could need, and you're still just a short drive to the beach. So I don't have my numbers right in front of me. Andrew, do you want to go over with our audience, what would it look like to actually live here? Like, what does it cost to buy a house here in Hammock Bay?
Thanks, AJ. Now that you've seen the amenities and the layout of Hammock Bay, let's talk about what a typical home here actually looks like, because this is where relocation decisions become more concrete. See, in Destin, a certain budget might put you close to the water, but often with less space. In Freeport, the same budget can get you into newer construction with more square footage and community amenities. So let's go through some examples. Destin's median price point is currently sitting at $650,000. In Destin, $650,000 might get you a 2-bed, 2-bath condo with views of the beautiful Gulf of America. Or if you're looking at single-family homes, it'll get you a 3, maybe a 4-bedroom home with 2,000 square feet. In Freeport, $450,000 is the median, and here's what you get for $450,000. 2,000 square feet and 4 or 5 bedrooms, and even a 2 or sometimes even a 3-car garage. So very similar to what you get in Destin, but for $200,000 less. So let's say that you've got the budget for an average home in Destin and you use that in Freeport instead of Destin. In that event, you would get 2,500 to 3,000 square feet, also 4 and 5 bedrooms, and a higher quality of home, as well as a larger footprint or a larger lot. One big advantage to Freeport is the sheer volume of homes that are available as well. There's about 50% more single-family homes available in Freeport than there are in Destin. Of course, Destin has considerably more condos. Freeport is also flush with new construction, with some pretty incredible deals going on. They change from week to week, so be sure to reach out to us if you want to stay on top of any of the deals or if you're a little bit closer to your move. But here are just a few examples of what I've seen in Freeport on the new construction side of things, and this was just in the last 3 months. We recently closed a property at $350,000, and they offered $15,000 anyway money. You can use that for whatever you want: appliances, gutters, buying down your rate, or paying for your closing costs. One of my favorite things that I see is the excellent interest rates they're providing. I've seen them offer as low as 3.99% in the last 3 months. Now, how can they do this, you ask? Well, it's pretty simple. They own the building company, right? They're the builder. They own the title company and even the mortgage company. So you do have to use those items when you're purchasing their home, but when you do, they're able to offer a lot more discounts and incentives to help you choose them over the competition. And what do you get with new construction that you can't get with a resold home? Well, many of the homes meet newer wind and hurricane codes. You've got modern floor plans, which include that open kitchen and living space everybody loves so much. And in a lot of cases, larger closets. And that's just to name a few. In fact, AJ's standing inside of a property in Freeport right now. It's not new construction, but let's go ahead and take a look at what a property in Freeport at the Destin price looks like. AJ, go ahead and walk us through it.
Today we're going to be touring 136 Buxton's Way, and this house is amazing. We've got 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, 2,400 square feet, and a gorgeous pool and hot tub in the backyard. You're hearing that and you're probably like, oh my gosh, that's going to be so much to maintain. But actually the backyard isn't ginormous. It's plenty for if you've got kids and a dog and you want to go swimming, but it's not like overwhelming, which for those of y'all that have been watching this for a minute, y'all know I really like efficiency, functionality, and not having to spend more time or money maintaining things than I have to while still enjoying a really great quality of life. So this house, absolutely fantastic. It checks all of the boxes. If I didn't live just up the road, this one might actually be in my buy box because it's already got the pool and It's a really great layout. I'm gonna show it to you. So here's a little bit of the neighborhood, and here's the house. So one thing to note is you've got this extra wide driveway here, and then kind of the J-hook style property so that you back into the garage this way on the side instead of having it right up to the front. So absolutely fantastic. It's one of my favorite designs. It's the same as my house actually. And what's cool is, I don't know, you just tuck your car away and then everyone can pull up straight this way. I just really like it. Oh, before we go in, I do want to say a very quick thank you to Christopher Bent with Realty One Group for allowing us to tour your beautiful listing today. All right, so we just stepped inside and this floor plan is awesome. You walk in and you've got all the main living spaces, obviously your living room and then your dining room over here with beautiful lighting. We've got some vaulted ceilings going on in here. It makes it feel very, very grand and it lets in so much natural lighting. A lot of times the space doesn't feel quite as big when there isn't furniture in here, so I'm just going to go ahead and tell you this is a big space. This is a beautiful space for a dining room. And we also have another smaller area over here, which is great. So you could have the formal dining space and a smaller one, but this space is super big as well. So what you really could do is have the smaller area be the dining space and turn this into a den. We see people do this all the time. They'll like maybe continue this wall and put some French doors right here, and then you've got your office. Either way, you could turn one of these into an office and leave one of them as a dining space. Or if you're like me, you could turn one of them into a homeschooling area, which is fantastic because you keep all of that arts and crafts and school stuff located in one area so that it's not everywhere as it tends to get when you're homeschooling. So just something to think about. All right, they've got some really cool stuff going on with the lights. So these are dimmed. I'm not sure why, and I don't know how to change it. So this kitchen would be quite a bit brighter if I could figure out how to turn those lights on fully, but I couldn't. So alas, here we are. But it is a great size kitchen, and this island is huge, just huge. So you've got tons of cooking space here. You can absolutely put some stools across here. You could easily fit 5 stools right here. I know because I only have 4 at mine. This is longer. And of course, gas cooktop. Oh my gosh, I love cooking with gas. So I get so excited every time I see gas appliances. It just makes me so happy. All right, and then the living room. So yes, there's a fireplace, and yes, we use them in Florida. Why? Because it's 26 degrees out, or okay, maybe not anymore. It's like 60 now, but it was 26 this morning, which was, hey, not okay. So a little bit of the layout. So we've got 2 bedrooms over here with a Jack and Jill bathroom over here, which is great. And then we've got the master and its bathroom over here, and then a separate bedroom with bathroom over here. So why do I think that that is great for someone with kids? Well, if you've got like 3 kids, you can put the 2 older kids over here in the wing on their own to share the bathroom, right? And then if you have a younger child, that's the one that's most likely going to want to run into your room in the middle of the night because they had a nightmare, or if they're like my daughter says, I had a scary imagination, because she's not actually asleep and having a nightmare. She's just thinking scary thoughts, which is really weird. Anyways, so you have them closer to your bedroom over here, still with their own bathroom so that they're not making a big mess in yours, even though we both know they're going to make a mess in yours anyways, because your bathroom's just way better anyways, hello. So great floor plan for if you have kids, plus the pool and backyard, which we're gonna see in just a little bit. All right, so we can come around over here. This is storage, not your laundry room. And here's the bedroom, one of them, obviously. And how great is this closet? I mean, especially for just like a kid's closet to have a walk-in closet, that's fantastic. And then this Jack and Jill bathroom is really cool. It's different from a lot of the Jack and Jills that I've seen before. So I absolutely love this cabinet color, by the way. So very beautiful. And then we walk in and you've got the tub shower combo. and, you know, restroom. We've got some storage here. And then a completely separate vanity. So this is awesome. Each kid gets their own vanity. No one's gonna be fighting over their stuff. What they might fight over though is the closet, because one's closet is inside the room, the other one is inside the bathroom, but this one is clearly a little bit bigger of a closet. So, you know, there's always gonna be something to fight about. Me personally, so I'm thinking this bedroom, the one towards the front of the house with the larger closet, is gonna be the older child. For one thing, just because it's at the front of the house, that's what I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna want the younger kids at the back of the house. So that's just my thoughts on it. Comment down below if you have a different thought on this. I am curious, honestly. All right, let's go see the rest. So one thing that's really great is we have this huge amount of separation between the kids' wing and then the adults' wing. So when they're in their rooms watching TV and such, you won't hear it, hopefully. And look how massive this pantry is. I mean, wow, just wow. Even I would have a difficult time filling that up with stuff. No, I wouldn't, just kidding. Well, no, that's a lie. All right, so start over here. Here's the laundry room. Absolutely love what they've done with this laundry room. I really need to do something decorative with mine because right now I just hate going into it. This is your entryway from the garage, which is fantastic. They put some borders along and it just really elevates the space. You've got a spot to hang up your coats. Yes, we need coats in Florida. Take your shoes off, tuck them underneath into some baskets, and then a great size garage. Garages always look so clean when there's nothing in them. Makes me feel bad about mine. But mine has stuff in it. All right, so we've got some extra storage here. And then the last, you know, kids or guest bedroom. With closet. And yes, I will tell you the price of the property at the end. You can go ahead and comment down below right now how much you think that this property is going for. It is in Hammock Bay, if that gives you any kind of idea on the price. Hammock Bay is amazing, by the way. Absolutely love it here. It's like a city unto itself. We've got some trade ceilings here in the master and a huge space. I mean, this space is big. And what I love is that the closets are in the master bath. So you have all of this open wall space to do whatever you want with. You don't have to worry about blocking doors. Again, we've got this beautiful cabinet color, very rustic, just beautiful. It doesn't have that like craftsman style unfinished look to it. Of course, your bathtub, your soaking bathtub that the kids are going to steal from you because it's amazing and way better than theirs. Let's just call it what it is. The walk-in shower. And water closet. Guys, I've said it before, I'll say it again. You need this, you need the water closet. But more than you need a water closet is a his and hers closet, which I don't know if that's actually his and hers properly. It might be flipped. We'll find out after we look at them, obviously. I love that we've already got the built-ins. This is such an elevation because when it's not like that and you have to put it in, I don't know, it's just not as good. All right, so it might be his and hers. They look pretty identical to me. Or it might just be hers and hers and his is elsewhere in the house. Let's be real. All right, so let's go ahead and check out the backyard and the pool. And I will let you know how much this beautiful home costs. And you'll be like, oh my gosh, that's it? Because you're gonna see how amazing it is. And then you're gonna be like, AJ, and call me because you wanna see it in person. And I'm gonna be like, yes, let's go look at it. All those things are about to happen. All right, so we do have a little screened in patio area. I love what they've done to the ceiling here. Cute little touches. And you can tell they used to have some kind of swing here because they've got these hooks. There you go, you can see them now. This would be such a beautiful spot for a swing. And you can see where the sun is. So you just be sitting here with this view. Oh my gosh, I would live right here. So this is what I was talking about whenever I said, you know, you have plenty of yard space, but it's not like crazy. This pool is great size without being obnoxious. And I love the little, you know, shallow area here for laying out. And you've got the steps that come down and then another ledge over here in the deep end. But then again, this outdoor kitchen space, this is what I'm talking about. I just bought a Blackstone grill. I haven't used it yet, but I'm really excited about it. And of course, these hanging lights, I've got these as well, and they just add so much ambiance to a space. I think it's fantastic that they did this and you don't have to worry about doing it. And yet you still have plenty of grass space. Like for me, I have a big dog and I'll go to one side of my fence and throw to the other, and he gets a great workout doing that. And you've got this nice green buffer behind your house, so you're not looking directly at someone else's house. So it feels very like tropical back here. And of course with the palms, I think, are these the ones called Queen Anne's or something like that? They're not the annoying palms with like the spiky look to them. They're the beautiful ones. They definitely planted those and they're beautiful. So we've also got this area over here next to the pool. This would be a perfect spot for a fire pit. Put some Adirondack chairs around it. This is a great entertaining space, or just, you know, hanging out space for you and your family. It doesn't have to be for somebody else. It could absolutely just be for you guys. Be selfish, you know? That's what I'm gonna do. No, I'm not really selfish, just selfish with my home. I don't know, I just like my private stuff to be private. I do enjoy going and meeting people in public though. It's just like, no, I don't really want you to come to my house though. I don't know. So this property is currently listed for right at basically $700,000. I think it's like $699.9. And it was built in 2019. It's here in Hammock Bay, which means you have access to all of the amenities, which are many. We've got something like 5 pools and a frisbee golf and lots of trails to walk, multiple gym facilities. We have a bayfront clubhouse. We've got another clubhouse down on the south side of Hammock Bay that overlooks the water as well and has another beautiful pool. We've got a general store. We have this like big grassy knoll area where we do get-togethers. Oh my gosh, we had this, it was like a concert for Jesus. It was so good. We had so much fun. There were so many people there, met so many of the neighbors. All the kids were running around and playing together, and we were just worshiping together. It was absolutely amazing. There are multiple churches close by. This neighborhood community area is by far the best that I've ever experienced. So if you have a family and you're trying to find a great community to come and belong to, you really need to check out Freeport, specifically Hammock Bay, and this house. It's not even my listing. I'm telling you, you should look at it. It's really beautiful. So just like I talked about earlier, we do have a couple different builders, and even here in Nature View, one of the up and coming new residential neighborhoods, we've got Holiday Builders, D.R. Horton, and DSLD all within one neighborhood. So here, if we just kind of look around, you can see we've got a pool right here, and we've got tennis courts over here, basketball court over here. Mailboxes as well. This is becoming really popular where the mailboxes are no longer like right in front of the house, but there's a consolidated area for them, which is pretty cool. It gives you an opportunity to meet your neighbors, especially if you're a hermit like me and never introduces yourself to anybody. So today I'm going to show you a DSLD property because they're one of my favorite builders. Like if I had to choose, well, I did choose and I did buy a DSLD home. They're beautiful. So I'm going to show you, this is called a Comstock right behind me. Beautiful property. Got plenty of space for parking in this driveway. And this is the house. It sits on 0.18 acres. And this house is going for about $475 because it's got some upgrades. And something that DSLD does really well that I love is they always use these wood look tile floors, at least in all the homes that I've found. And I absolutely love them. They do have 2 separate colors to choose from, and they're both beautiful. This one is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, and it's gonna look really good because It is fully furnished and way better designed than my house. And by designed, I mean like furnishings, because, they built my house, so it looks great. But they use designers to actually make the houses look beautifully furnished as opposed to mine. And check this out. So in this main room, we've got 11-foot ceilings. And then here in the kitchen, you see they've done this extra touch here and brought the ceiling down a little bit. So you've got a 10-foot ceiling here. And then in some of the bedrooms, they come down even further and you've got 9-foot ceilings. Here we have the master bedroom. Look at how spacious this is. Now, DSLD is one of those builders that they build them as you order them, basically. So what does that mean? They don't typically start building the house until you put a contract in on it on the lot and you choose your floor plan and your upgrades and things of that nature. So if you're looking at this and you're like, oh, AJ, carpet. Well, you could pay extra and not have the carpet there. So there are definitely little tweaks that you can make, not necessarily to the floor plan itself, but to some of the finishes. Now, other builders like D.R. Horton typically aren't going to have that same offer because they just build them out before anyone's purchased them. DSLD, they typically wait. Now, there are opportunities sometimes to purchase one where a contract fell out. That's what I did. And then you don't have to wait as long. And that's nice. And then someone else can pick out the touches too, in case you're worried that you don't have that je ne sais quoi to make sure it's beautiful. I do want to show you this master bathroom. Look at this. Just beautiful. This is another thing DSLD always does with their closets. You have the wooden shelves and rods as opposed to the wire racks that are used by some other builders. Soaking tub. And they always use the rain glass on these windows. There we go. All right, I know I showed you the chicken, oh my gosh, the kitchen. I'm gonna show you guys the pantry though, just to make sure that you see it. And also, check out the size of this island. This is about the same size as my island, I think. It's huge. Now, new builds are typically not gonna come with a refrigerator unless they're doing some type of bonus. And then they always do their pantries like this as well. Again, the wooden shelves without the metal shelves, which is super nice. Another thing they do that's different is they always incorporate a backsplash, which this is an upgraded backsplash, I know, because it's the same one I have. So you have different levels you can choose from, different styles of quartz countertops as well. Lots of things that you can mix and match according to what your heart desires. And I think I showed you, or didn't show you, but told you that this one sits on a 0.18 acre lot. Now this is an additional feature for sure, having the screened in patio here. And look how spacious it is. So that's something that they'll do for you as well. And you can also ask them for extra outlets, like if you want it higher for a TV or something like that. But here's the lot. So this house in particular is not for sale. This one's just the model home, but they have plenty that are like this. And they start at about 458,000 without the upgrades. This one's at 475 because of the upgrades. 458 is your starting point. Hey, sorry about that. I was trying to keep my voice low because one of the DSLD agents was in there in a meeting. So I was trying to keep my voice down, but that was the new construction. I do have a question. Hey, Andrew, let's say that one of our folks wanted to buy this same style new construction in Destin. Then what are they really giving up and what are they going to be gaining, you know, in terms of location, price point, house?
That's a great question, AJ. And here's the part that really matters. If someone buys a home like that in Freeport instead of something similar in Destin, they're making a trade. They're gaining space. They're gaining, in some cases, new construction. And most importantly, they're gaining breathing room. And they're giving up a few things. They're giving up immediate beach proximity. They're giving up that tourism energy. And they're giving up being 5 minutes to the water. For some buyers, that's not a loss. It's a relief. Ask yourself, are you in a season of life where you want to be surrounded by the energy, or do you prefer the stability? See, Destin often appeals to empty nesters, second home buyers, and beach-first thinkers because of, well, how the city is centered. Freeport, on the other hand, will generally appeal to families that are relocating, remote workers, and people that want to plant their roots somewhere for a long time in a growing corridor. But ultimately, if you want to visit the action in Destin and other energy-packed areas near Freeport, you'll need to be comfortable with the drive time, both in the additional time it will take, as well as the extra mileage on your vehicle. The drive isn't just about miles, it's about the time it takes to commute as well. So let's go over some of those drive times. There's 3 in particular I want to hit. If you're going from Freeport to the Destin Harbor, or the boardwalk, as most people know it as, it's going to take approximately 40 to 45 minutes. But there's a closer beach if that's what you're looking for. The nearest beach is probably going to be in Blue Mountain, and the fastest way to get there will take about 15 to 20 minutes. And then, of course, for those of you traveling, you've got the VPS airport, which takes about 35 to 40 minutes to get to. So if you're a frequent flyer, then your beach is still relatively close. Here's another thing to consider. If you're commuting daily into Destin during peak season, then these drives are going to feel a little bit differently. And that's why we always tell you that Google doesn't tell the whole story. And if you're working remotely and only heading to Destin, let's say on the weekends, then depending on which route you take, that can sometimes double the commute times. So the question isn't, is it far? I think the better question to ask is, does it match how I want to live? See, if you're in a community inside of Destin, you might be making a 25-minute commute every single day. But if you're outside of Destin coming in, you might only be going in once a week or even once a month. And that commute might take longer at 40 to 45 minutes, but if it only has to be done once a week or once a month whenever you'd like to visit, then that's something to consider. Now, commute is just one part of the equation. In my opinion, the environment you come home to matters just as much, if not more. So I want to take a look at another example in Freeport. AJ, take us over to Windswept Estates and show us how that environment compares to what we were just looking at in Hammock Bay.
All right, here we are in Windswept Estates. This is a gated community, although right now it's staying pretty open because there's still a lot of new construction happening here. And so the construction crews have to get in and out. This is kind of what it looks like. It's super beautiful. It feels a lot different from Hammock Bay. The sidewalks are still here, but a little bit narrower. And you'll notice that the lots are a bit bigger. I actually have something really cool in store for you guys. I'm not going to just talk on the whole drive there. I will meet you at a specific house in just a minute. Okay, so the amenities are a little bit different here at Windswept. Behind me, we've got the clubhouse. We've got a bit of parking here, and I'm going to take you around and show you the playground and the pool so that you can see the difference between Windswept and, say, Hammock Bay. So I'm going to flip you around. All right, so ahead of me, you got the basketball court. And then this is the pool. They've got a birthday party going on in the clubhouse, so I'm not going to show that. But then you've got a playground up here, and then some tennis courts. We're going to say they're tennis courts. Y'all know. I don't know. It's pickleball or tennis. These ones are green. The other ones were blue. So I don't know. But I know a lot of people actually decide where they're going to live based on the proximity to pickleball courts. Apparently, it's like a big thing. But how cute is this playground? I love how they've got the seating over here. It's adorable. You've got the pavilion over here. All right, and here are the courts. All right, I just wanted to make this pit stop before our surprise. Of course, I forgot to mention the golf course that's here. Windswept's like known for it because there's a golf course on site. Now you do have to pay an extra fee for membership to it to use it. It doesn't just come standard with your HOA fees, but it is really cool. As someone who doesn't golf, I actually really like seeing all the like golf cart crossing signs and like the little trails for the golf carts to go across the road. I don't know, it's just cool to me. I like it, even if I have zero interest or, experience in golfing ever. Okay, so this is the surprise that I had for you guys. This is my friend Mike, and he and his wife just closed on this beautiful house. Check out this kitchen. How gorgeous is this? All right. And we're in Windswept. And so one of the things I wanted to ask you in front of our viewers is, what made you decide to purchase in Windswept instead of Hammock Bay? Because they've just seen all the amenities and everything there is to offer at Hammock Bay. I'll let you hold this too.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll try to keep it simple because it is a bit of a process. We went and we searched around several areas, as you know, and we pulled into Hammock Bay, and it's nice and it's big and it's sprawling. But a lot of the houses were closer. They were nice homes and they have a lot of amenities. But, so we kept that on the list. And then actually we came here after that. And as soon as we pulled in, and you'll remember, I was kind of poo-pooing on a lot of the neighborhoods. And it's just like, yeah, it just doesn't feel like the right fit. Doesn't feel like the right fit. But when we pulled in here, all the infrastructure was buried, which was great. The trees were a little more spread out, a little lower. The homes were spread out. The lots were bigger, which is exactly what we were looking for. And the homes were beautiful. They really were. So funny enough, we pull in and we had no appointment. It was early in the morning before our next appointment. And we just started looking at homes. And Simon, he stopped by and said, hey, do you guys want to see inside? Yep. Sure enough. And everything took off from there. So I guess, all in all, it's just a beautiful neighborhood. That's just seeing it, right? As an outsider before we even came and made any contracts or anything like that. And the homes were just nice. The craftsmanship was really nice. So yeah, it worked out.
And how have you liked living? Oh, they might not be able to hear me. Sorry. How have you enjoyed living in Windswept since you actually moved in?
Yeah. So it's actually been great. I will say, and this isn't just for AJ's video, it is the absolute best neighborhood I've ever lived in. And we've lived in nice neighborhood. I don't mean, fancy type neighborhood. It's the nicest neighborhood we've ever lived in because the neighbors are neighbors. They're neighborly. And what really drew us to the South anyways is just everybody is friendly. It really is. It's laid back. And the thing about Windswept is you're in the country. You really are, but you're in the neighborhood in the country. And that is a very good feeling. We're not the type to be in the busy every day. We'd rather go visit the busy and then retreat back to our home.
Yep, I'm the same way. Awesome. Well, thank you. I told you guys I had a great surprise for you. Now you don't just have to listen to my word for it. Okay, so now that we've seen Hammock Bay and Windswept, Andrew, do you want to go over who would actually be the most likely buyer for Windswept? Like, what's the personality type who's going to choose Windswept over Hammock Bay?
First off, that interview was a complete surprise to me. I appreciate you doing that, AJ, and I appreciate all of the information. You guys just heard from somebody that's actually living in Freeport. I know AJ lives there too, but we're talking about somebody that's not in the real estate industry that lives there now. And I think that perspective matters way more than any brochure or guide that you're going to look at. His answers are not theoretical, they're lived experience. Now, you've seen two different environments here in Freeport. We've seen Hammock Bay, which is the master plan community, focused heavily on amenities. It's got newer construction, and it's centered around community events and has a lot of active energy. Now, not near as active as Destin, obviously. Hammock Bay typically appeals to, as I mentioned before, families relocating, military transfers, and remote workers are oftentimes what we see quite a lot. And now we've taken a look at Windswept. Windswept has larger lots, more established feel, and honestly a little bit more of a casual feel as well. You've got quieter evenings and a larger property buffer, between the houses, and less central activity. Windswept itself is likely going to appeal more to golf-oriented buyers, if you like to swing a club, larger lot seekers, people that want a little bit more space in between the homes, and it's typically leaning a little bit on the more established demographic. Now let's look at the opposite side of that, or at least a stark difference between the two. Destin represents coastal proximity and a little bit more density. It's more established. It's got a little bit higher barrier to entry, at least in price point as we've noticed, and cost of living as well. And it's got smaller land supply, so the houses are typically a little bit closer together. This is going to appeal to investors, second home markets, and a vacation-driven audience. You'll see a lot more mature landscaping in Destin and slower change, which means you're going to have a lot less volatility on the build-out because it's already established. Freeport, on the other hand, is representing growth and space, and you're sitting right smack dab in the center of an expansion corridor. And a lot of growth means a lot of equity gain. You'll see a lot more and newer infrastructure and a lot of builder-driven growth, and there's a lot more land available. In Freeport, you may also see a stronger HOA influence because, well, it's master plan communities. But that means that you have a consistent aesthetic, meaning the houses look all relatively in the same kind of look. And that means more predictable development, but it does mean development. So when you buy here on the Emerald Coast, you're not just choosing a house, you're choosing an environment that you're likely going to be spending your next 5 to 10 years of your life in. In fact, one of my favorite questions to ask somebody who is considering a move anywhere along the Emerald Coast is, if you had to stay here for 10 years, would you be comfortable with this location? And that decision deserves a little bit of clarity because you can change paint and you can change the kitchens and the bathrooms. You can update finishes. You can refinish the floors. Heck, you can even add a pool, but you cannot move your street, your traffic pattern, or the energy that you're surrounded by. If you're relocating near Destin and trying to decide whether to live inside of the coastal zone or just outside of it, then this is a level of clarity you need before you start looking at properties online. I'm sure, keep looking, but I think there needs to be a little bit more clarity. And if you want help narrowing that down, we offer something called a relocation clarity call. You can reach out to us. All of my information will pop up on the screen. This isn't about us pushing you north or south. It's about aligning your commute tolerance, budget expectations, and lifestyle preferences so that you don't second guess your move later. Nothing would be worse than moving to an area and then having to move again 2 years later when you don't have as much equity as you'd probably like. And of course, if you're still researching the Emerald Coast in general, well, we've got a free 38-page guide. We're not going to hound you with a bunch of stuff. It's just something to kind of help you. And it talks through each of the different areas. We're going to pop that up right here in a QR code. And we're going to have it in the pinned comment down below and in the description. So no matter where you're watching this from, you can pick up that guide and kind of get a better idea on the different areas if you're a little bit further out. We do videos every single Tuesday at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'll see you guys in the next one.